supposed to work is you're supposed to be bothered by it, meaning it's never to help you. It's never, it's no one protecting you from the storm. At one point, they said they wanted credit because they said they protected me. So they said they used to say things before to warn me. Now, first of all, let's just get to that point. If somebody is saying something to warn you of something before it happens, isn't that strange? Isn't that strange? Like, when did someone say to you, like, outright, I'm going to be surveilling you, invading your privacy, stealing from you because they didn't warn me about the bad stuff that's happened to me? Not just before, when they said they started when I was a child, but throughout my life, and definitely since I caught this. They said I caught it in 2017, but I caught it in 2016 for sure. They don't want to acknowledge that because that goes into when they were telling me, wouldn't you like to be the manager of the boutique? Where do you see yourself in such, meaning they don't want to acknowledge that point in 2016, which is when I realized, what the hell is this? But they wanted to seem like they were this to me. Like, they said that they used to pretend to be the men that I found attractive. That's craziness. It's not just the idea that if I find a man attractive, I'm going to automatically like him. I think deep inside, I'm looking for this. I'm looking for this. Okay? I'm not looking for someone to say, I'm going to warn you, something bad may happen. Especially if that's part of their personality assessment of me, which is that I'm going to be the type of person who will listen to some weird voices in my apartment or from my cell phone. And it wasn't in my apartment when I heard it at the job, on the job. Meaning I'm going to be the type of person who's looking for someone to tell me something, and it turns out they're the ones doing it. That's not a personality assessment on me. It's a personality assessment on them. They admitted something really huge, that they wanted to always feel like they were more powerful, meaning sit down and talk to me like they're in a position of authority. And I talked about this when I talked about the reason this technology was called the voice of God, and how they wanted to seem like they were godlike, meaning we have this knowledge. And I said there are three components: all knowing, all seeing, all present, to being God. And they hate when I talk about theology because it changes it from just seeming like, oh, anyone can play God. No, God is God for a reason. He's all of those things. And he's still God. Like, he's still God with all of that. And they can't even keep up one part of it. They can't even keep up the part of all knowing. They said, why did I admit that they got some things right? Because they're using a computer. They did personalities. I have done no personality assessments on people. I'm not using a computer when I interact with people. I'm just doing what I'm doing. So they just said, oh, at a job, you had a computer. The computer wasn't on the person. What I'm saying is they did a personality assessment on me. They called it like, you know how you get a booklet, a private investigator can give you every single thing about the person. When did I do that on somebody? So they're not all knowing, not God, all present, not God. The other point about this is that they don't have this picture has, which is somebody who's protecting out of love. They're protecting to seem godlike, meaning there's something in it for them. They're not doing it because, hey, I'm doing it because I care about you, or I'm coming from a place of, I know this, I've been through this. No, they're the ones setting me up because they admitted something. They said in the beginning, the setups will be, they help you. The voices will help you. But once you start to trust the voices turn on you. And I say something completely different. So that was their point of view. My point of view is the fact that you're creating voices in someone is the setup. Not the, I'm going to be nice at first and then I'm going to turn on you. That's beyond the setup. Creating the voice in and of itself is the setup, because what you're doing is creating craziness in someone and not acknowledging it. And when something goes wrong, not taking responsibility for it. But for some reason, they want to come back around and take responsibility for my life because they thought I did well in life. But they can't say that. That would completely go against their belief. So they can't say you did a good job. You're 52, you did all right. No. So in order to turn it and twist it on me, they want to say that they've been doing this all my life. Another big thing that they said, oh, so much, is that the things that they said out loud, which were horrible, horrible, I'm not going to repeat stuff about children. They said if they all say it, then it seems like it's okay. No, it's not. It's not okay. So I've been to a lot of big things they said today. The other big thing is, and I just now say the other big thing because there's just so many big things, is that if everybody's doing it, then it's okay. That's craziness. Absolute insanity. They just said when we were younger, meaning they hate when I say when I was growing up. I say that all the time because it's important that Gen Xers know. I believe it did maybe not start with us, but they perfected this around us. The idea that something bad can happen to us and we'll just fight back. We'll just fight back. We'll get through it. That attitude that we always have, as opposed to the attitude that we should have, which is that it's not okay. I can't always just fight through it. Sometimes I'm going to have to say, all right, you're making a suggestion. Let's see what happens when we try that suggestion. And it fucks up everything. You get what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to do that sometimes. So they were laughing because they said that this is bringing it out there because a mentally ill person wouldn't know things before they happen in this way and wouldn't be able to argue and then go on, the internet. I say something different. Again, I will always argue with them. But part of it is that I can't always fight back because sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I have other things to do. And sometimes my body won't let me. But when I can, I'll say something different. Why should you give wrong information? The point of the voices was never to help. Why can't we just admit that? Why do we have to argue about the simplest things? The information, if you search online, NSA lawsuit against NSA 1992, it says exactly what this is. And I didn't have that information when it started. You have people surveilling you, people watching what you're doing, people playing mind games on you, mind control, switching things around so you're confused, people spreading gossip and rumors about you. They talk about the radio transmission rates. How would I have known that when I woke up in the middle of the night in 2019 and recorded it? How would I have known to do that? Unless something weird happened before that led up to it. Meaning, it's not like I woke up in the middle of the night, this is the first time people were talking to me and I recorded it. No, it was the first time I was able to record it. It was the first time I was able to really capture that moment where you're waking up at night and something weird is happening to you. What is this? The other thing about this is that when they're trying to interrupt me and talk over me as a personality assessment, why that bothers me. They said, well, if I tell you guys all this stuff, then you'll use it against me. It's already being used against me. Maybe it bothers me because the people they sent into my life were always older. Or maybe it's just that it's rude. It's everything they want to say I am. But the hardest part about when you're trying to say something, someone interrupts you and talks over you and gets it wrong, is then you have to argue. It goes back to that Gen X thing of I gotta fight. I gotta, defend myself. And it keeps you like this, as opposed to being able to relax, have a conversation and get your point across without always feeling like you have to fight. And that's what they wanted to put on me. They said because I'm Black, I should naturally feel that way. What? Now I would have to fight. Now I would have to fight that. So they said they're going to bring in Black people. Here we go again with the bringing in the Black people to argue with me so that it doesn't look racist and it doesn't look like different groups. But they said the foundation, meaning that there's a layer of this, starts with one group. but that group is paid by another group. And so they bring in other groups. So meaning it's all a setup. So what I'm saying is, and I'm going to end with this, what I'm saying is that if you are setting people up to always be tense and fighting and then something happens to them, why don't they feel anything about that? Like, why don't they feel bad about it? And they can stay quiet for decades and decades and decades and never care. I don't understand that. So, you know, when I'm starting to punch things in for the search, I haven't found people who are former gang stalkers talking about it. I don't know why. This is the first time that I'm ever finding anyone talk about it who did it. The voices, they're talking about it and they've done it. One thing they did say about it, why they stayed quiet, was they thought people wouldn't believe their version of what happened. And that if I'm discrediting them, then I'm discrediting the version of what happened. That's wrong. If I'm discrediting them, I'm discrediting their honesty, because it's very dishonest to not say anything until I say something. And it wasn't that you didn't say it because you thought no one believed you. You didn't say it. Now, if you said it and then later on things come out that support you, that's one thing. But not to say it until you get caught up in this and it's recordable and people are talking and matching things up is a lie. So I'm not going to support you in order to make you feel like, oh, I didn't say it because I didn't think anyone would believe it. I said this stuff and I didn't think anyone would believe me. I was sitting up here talking and saying all this craziness until it started to happen and people were like, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, you are getting the microwaves through your walls, which caused my face to become so swollen. And as you see me fighting through this disability that it caused, I can't help it. I do fight. And they know that about me. That's part of my personality assessment. Thank you for watching. I'm going to continue to not title these videos and just kind of link to it. And if you find me live, you find me live. Thank you guys. Someone who's in the chat, not in the chat, in watching this live. Thank you. I appreciate all the information coming out. I'm hoping that some of the information they're telling me that I can tell you makes sense, because sometimes it just doesn't. But I'm going to end this video now. I'll upload more videos soon. Thank you for watching.